Hey, thanks for checking out Nuts and Bolts with Tone, and welcome to my channel. Today we have a 2012 third gen Prius. Now this Prius came in with a check engine light, and the customer specifically stated did not overheat. So, pulled the codes. It had a P0117 engine coolant temp sensor circuit low input and a P148F water pump over rev. So, the first thing you do when you pull the codes, obviously, is you're going to get freeze frame. What was the coolant temp when the freeze frame hit? This one was at like 272 degrees. Pretty darn hot. So given a third gen Prius, 272 degrees, I thought for sure this thing was going to have a blown head gasket. So I tested it, passed. Anytime you get a third gen Prius in for any sort of coolant issues, drivability issues, or especially like a knocking on startup, you want to block test it. And if you have a blown head gasket, it will fail the block test. A lot of times, when you start them up and turn them off and they haven't been running long, and you go to take the cap off, the cap will have a lot of pressure. You'll notice a lot of pressure from a short time of running. That's because of the head gasket. But on this one, it passed. So this code right here, this water pump over rev code, this indicates that the water pump revved faster than it was supposed to. Now this can happen from two different things. One, you can have air behind the thermostat, so the water pump is pumping air, not coolant, or you can have a failed water pump. So a blown head gasket would be something that could cause this code, because you get air in the cooling system because of the blown head gasket. Also, let's say maybe you did some recent cooling system work and you didn't bleed it properly. You could have some air there. But if you don't have a blown head gasket and you're sure there's no air, it's a failed water pump. So I'm going to show you how to replace this water pump. And when we're all done, I'm going to show you how to test it, show you what a good water pump looks like, and you'll be able to see from there how to look at a bad one from scan tool data. I wish I had recorded the pre-test beforehand, showing what my stuff looked like before. But anyways, I'm going to show you that afterwards. So before we do that, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell. You get notified of all my future content, which you definitely don't want to miss. Also, all right, step one, we got to get the cover off here. So we're going to go ahead and undo all these clips and bolts. We're going to go ahead and get this cover out. And we're going to get to the petcock. You can't see it from here, but let's get this cover off here so we can drain this coolant. For these little type of clips that set almost all the way inset, a pair of pliers like these. I have a lot of these different types of pliers. This one right here actually works the best. I was trying to see if I can find a part number. Anyways, you want to get some pliers like that. So now that we got that off, now you can see the petcock. We're going to go ahead and turn that and put a bucket under this thing and get it draining. All right, and you want to go ahead and take your cap off to let the coolant drain faster. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to take off this whole air box assembly here. We got a couple 10s. We got a clamp. Okay, we're going to have to get all this out of the way because we need to get down there to the water pump and the thermostat. Got some clamps. So to get this off, it's going to be a little tricky. You're just going to undo this one clamp here. This box right here has got two 10s. It's going to stay with the lower box. Take your air filter and your cap off, disconnect your mass airflow. Going to go ahead and pop these two loose. We're going to get all this out of here. All right, so now we got all this out of the way. Now you can see we can get down here. All right, so what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to just, so this is the water pump right here, and that's the thermostat. We're going to be doing both of those. All right. One trick that I like to do is if I can get wires out of the way, I like to do that. So we're going to go ahead and disconnect this water pump connector here. We're going to disconnect this connector, which I think is a knock sensor connector. We're going to pop this clip loose right here. And we're going to disconnect the AC compressor, I think. And then hopefully we can just move this harness out of the way. And then what I like to do is I like to put a line, a paint marker on the hose. So that way when I pull the clamp off, I know it goes back exactly the way I took it, that I put it on, or that I took it off. So I'll show you that once I get these wires out of the way. Okay, you can see here I got the harness pulled out of the way. The AC compressor, all it is one little tab like that. I stick a little pick in there and just pull this up, pull it out. Gonna go ahead and disconnect your knock sensor here from the dipstick tube right here. Just get out of the way. You got a 12. You got a 12 right back there on the block, and you got a 12 right there. You're going to go ahead and just take those out so you can move this around. And then you can see how I marked the hoses. All right, from here we got to get these two hoses off. There's a heater hose that goes that way, and there's the radiator hose. We got to get those off to get the thermostat out. To get the water pump out, we just have about 3 or 4 bolts on the outside of it, and it's going to come off. All right, so here's what it looks like. This is the part that attaches to the engine. So we got 5 bolts, and then there's the electrical connector. So you can see that right there, and this is what it looks like from the outside. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get those off. And this is like plastic and aluminum, so just be careful. All right, so this is why you want to get the dipstick unbolted and out of the way, so you can unbolt this thermostat housing and pull it over here. Hang on, I'm stuck. And then go ahead and get the hose disconnected while it's over here. It's easier to do it here than it is down there because of this whole throttle body area intake manifold. So we're gonna go ahead, and this thermostat is one big plastic assembly. So we already took the lower radiator hose off, and then now we gotta get that heater hose off, and then we're gonna get this out. All right, so for that thermostat, there's one nut here on the top and one nut in the front, and then the one in the back is actually a little bolt. Right there, 2 nuts and a bolt. And so for this water pump, we're going to go ahead and get this out with these 5 bolts on the outside, on the passenger side. I'm going to get those out. Okay, the little side cover here from underneath in the wheel well. Go ahead and take out. There's 3 clips, and then you can roll it like this because there's a hidden one that's hard to get to. You just roll it down. You can access the bolts underneath. So here we have the water pump out. So we're going to clean this surface. There's 2 long bolts and 3 short bolts. All right, let me get this cleaned up. We'll torque it on. All right, so here's a picture of the water pump. This is what it looks like right here. These are the 2 long bolts, and these are the 3 short ones. The long bolts are 19 foot-pounds, and the short bolts are 15 foot-pounds, or 180 inch-pounds. All right, I'm going to put the thermostat in first, and that is 7 foot-pounds, or 84 inch-pounds. Don't forget your heater hose goes behind the oil dipstick. So if you can get the oil dipstick out, go ahead and pull it out and get it out of your way. I put a bolt back in here just to kind of keep it out of the way so I can get the water pump out. So I'm going to go ahead and put the thermostat in first. Okay, so here's what I was talking about. There's a hidden clip right in there. It's easier just to leave it. Fold this out of the way. And as you can see here, we can get to that one on the left there. That's the 19 foot-pounds. That one's the 180 inch-pounds. And then the one up to the right of it is 180 inch-pounds. We're going to drop it down and torque the other 2, and the water pump will be in. All right, once you get the water pump and the thermostat in, before you put everything back together, go ahead and connect your connectors, get everything back in their clips. Get your bolt back on. This is a bracket right here holding the dipstick. You don't have to take it off, but I did. Now you want to make sure that you use an airlift of some sort, a vacuum refiller. So you're going to suck it down until it doesn't go down anymore, and you're going to fill it, and that makes sure you don't have any air bubbles. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do to confirm this code is you're going to get in the car, and you're going to have your foot off the brake. You're going to push the power button 2 times. You're going to push the throttle 2 times. You're going to put your foot on the brake and put it in reverse. Make sure it goes in reverse. Foot off the brake, throttle twice, foot on the brake, put it in park, foot off the brake, throttle 2 more times. Maintenance mode is active, and now we're going to start it. Okay, so if you have the ability to do this, what you want to do is you're going to go into the Prius, and the PIDs that you want to be looking at are, you're going to go into data, and I've already done this, so we're going to go to custom list. So these are the PIDs that you're going to be looking at right here. So the first thing you want to do is make sure there's no air, that the coolant is full, and that there's no air in the cooling system. So I don't have a video of the previous, of before it failed, but this is what you're looking at right here. Okay, so you want to look at coolant temp, you want to look at your fan, in case it's overheating, and you want to look at your water pump. So the first PID is the target, and the second PID is the actual. So before I had the target PID was 2450, my actual was around 3200, and it wouldn't change. It stayed way over what it was expected to do. So that's how you confirm the code, and as long as you don't have any air in the system, you've block tested it. It's a Gen 3, so they're very common for head gaskets to fail. As long as you don't have any air in the system, this is what you want to do. And these two PIDs should stay pretty close to each other. And then this is how you're going to confirm that it's fixed. When you had, obviously you always look at what you had before and you test it in the same scenario. And this one, I have it pretty close. Before it was off, like I said, 3200 to 3400. So now I'm going to let this thing warm up. I'm going to turn the heater on, because I always turn the heater on after I do AC work. The other good thing about putting this thing in maintenance mode is that you don't have to wait for the gasoline engine to cycle on and off. The gasoline engine will stay on the whole time. And now we have heat. Let me put it out of the right place. We have heat. We have the gasoline engine running until I tell it to stop. And now we can confirm that we're fixed. So here's an example of what the electric water pump should do. If you put it in graph mode, the graphs, they should almost identically be perfect. The gasoline engine's not on right now, so it says 0, but you can't really look at the PIDs. You want to look at the graph. The graph is going to tell you the actual, what's really going on. You'll be able to compare it there. This one is good. Road testing now. So now that you watched this video, you should feel comfortable diagnosing this over rev problem with this water pump, also replacing it. You should also feel very comfortable putting it into service mode and understanding the importance of service mode. So, thanks for watching the video. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell. You get notified of all my future content, which you definitely don't want to miss. Also, check me out on Instagram at Nuts and Bolts with Tone for my daily life as a mechanic, where I'll show you all kinds of cool stuff from day to day, show you tools, show you stuff I'm working on, show you some gas, show you some diesel. Check out my merchandise store where you can get a t-shirt or a coffee cup and support the channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.